The Becoming Unique podcast had an amazing episode this week about Qi Gong with my lovely guest, Vicky. And Vicky has agreed to show us a Qigong exercise so we can now get a visual of what Qigong looks like. So I'm excited. So this is my first time doing Qigong with Vicky. I've done like an exercise before, but like I'm excited to do something. And I believe Vicky is going to show us something in reference to digestion. So I'm excited. So let's get started. So you can go ahead and give us a cue of what we're going to do.
Thank you so much, Unique. I love seeing you again. It's just beautiful to be here. And thank you for giving me a special request around digestion. So one of the things I could say before we move is about digestion is it's a lot about how we are discerning or using the nutrients we get and what gets used for energy and what gets moved to waste. So before we actually do an official Qigong thing, what I would say is let's just do, put your hands on your hips and start circling your hips around. So when we circle the hips around, of course, this is activating the lower belly, the lower abdomen, and what's called the lower dantian in Qigong. So it's an energy center. And it's, again, this is where we integrate information. Let's go around in the other direction a little bit, and it should feel comfortable. So as you do this, you want your knees to feel soft, and you want your hips to just be really relaxed. And you might feel a little bit of a stretch in the hips or the lower back, but you don't want to push into it. This is not a no pain, no gain type of moment. It's really just about loosening up. Especially for those of us who spend a lot of time sitting in chairs, that can really affect your digestion, right? Because our bodies like to move. Let's go around in the other direction again. So when you're about to learn something or you're about to take something in, this is always a good thing to do a couple times. Let's change directions one more time. So you're just kind of warmed up your hips and what we can call the bowl of your pelvis. Now let's bring the feet so they're hip distance apart. And we're going to lift your toes up off the floor and spread them out like they're a paw, and then put the toes back down and soften your knees and relax your jaw. And we're going to put the hands on the belly, and we're just going to start to bounce up and down in your legs. So it's just nice and easy. You don't want to do something super intense, just bounce a little bit. And with your hands, let your belly move up and down a little bit. And I know this is kind of taboo in the Western culture. We're not supposed to even have bellies, but we want to be really nurturing and kind to our belly, whether we're feeling like we can connect to it or not, right? I know for a lot of women, they that's a real sore point for them, but it's also, it's the seat of your creativity. So we want to have, when you're moving your belly up and down and bouncing in your legs, you're just sort of waking up your inner organs and your digestive system saying, hi, let's wake up and let's show a little love here, give a little sugar. And then we're going to circle your hands over your abdomen, coming up on your right and then going down on your left. And this should feel really good. And you can do this, by the way, seated. You don't have to be standing for it if you don't want to be. You can do this seated. You can even do it lying down. But when we go down on the left and then up on the right, we're following the track of the large colon, right? So we're going up the ascending colon here, the large intestine, across the transverse colon, and then down on the descending colon. And this really helps with elimination. So it's a good thing to do in the morning when you're wanting to sort of wake your system up to do that, again, that discernment process, what is remaining and turned into energy for you, and what is it that we are now releasing as waste. And then you can go in the other direction. Very good if you have, a very sensitive colon, or you tend towards diarrhea, that kind of thing. Want to just go in the opposite direction, and that helps tonify your colon. So one is relaxing the colon to release, and the other is tonifying it so that it can help you in terms of that discernment process. Okay, good. And then just shake out. And then put your hands back on your belly and just take a moment to breathe and notice whatever you notice. Does your belly feel a little bit more relaxed? It should. If it doesn't, see if you can just really imagine that you're relaxing the solar in the belly, and then your lower back in your here. So you're breathing all the way through this whole hip area. And then let's just to finish, let's just do a grounding movement where you're going to turn your palms up towards the sky. And you're going to imagine drawing energy up from the earth, up your legs, like you're a tree and you're bringing sap up your body all the way up towards your center of your chest or the heart chakra, for those of you who do yoga. And then as you release, your hands are just going to come down the center line of the body. Again, the palms are just facing up towards the sky. So we're going to inhale as the palms come up. And exhale down. So we're going past all of the inner organs, because in Chinese medicine, we're working with the digestive system, which is the stomach and spleen, but we're also working, we're working with a lot of different meridians, but we're also working with a lot of, of what's called the 5 elements. And this particular element has to do with the earth. So we want to feel connected to the earth through our bellies, through our digestion, right? Think about the cycle of compost, right? We release waste, it can break down into compost and become fertilizer, or animals do. So there's this sense here of being reciprocal with the earth, energy coming up as you inhale, and as you exhale, releasing down. Make sure that your tailbone is connected to the earth and that your crown is connected to the sky. And let's finish that just by bringing the hands back to the lower dantian. So this one's also very good to do when you feel like you're overloaded with so many things to do and you need to ground, you need to take a moment. You can do this in 2 minutes, right? Up and down, and just have a moment to just feel like, okay, I'm good to go for the next thing. How's that, Unique? Does that do it for you?
Yes, that was absolutely beautiful. I can see doing something like that every morning just gets the energy going, because sometimes we wake up in the morning and we're a bit sluggish and like, let me go make my tea, let me do this. But just to be mindful, to go ahead and get the energy moving. So I can see that. And it's nice and delicate and gentle, but yet it feels like it did bring some fire within me. And then just giving love and attention with my touch to my stomach area, so thinking about my digestion. I did have a question.
Yes.
Are we very relaxed when we're like within our stomach, like when we're doing the movements, or like when you go to classes, they're like, engage your core. Are we engaging our core, or are we just letting it be as it is?
I love that question so much. It does tonify the core, but unlike yoga or Pilates or some of these other, wonderful techniques that help strengthen the core, it is more about when you're doing Qi Gong, what you're wanting to do is less is more. The whole idea behind it is effortlessness. So you're not pulling up and contracting in your abdomen. You actually are letting the belly relax. And that's what I was saying. It's counterintuitive for those of us who grew up in the West, where we're told, suck it up, suck it in, to really let it relax, particularly if you're having issues with digestion. A lot of times that has to do with stress and tension that gets lodged in the intestines. So we want to make sure that the intestines are functioning well. They're tonified, but they're also not tightened. So this is not a place where you would strengthen your core like you would if you were doing sit-ups or any kind of abdominal work in Pilates or yoga.
Yeah. Okay. So that's great to know. We can be relaxed when we're doing this, when we're doing our Qigong and getting the energy moving. Yes. One more question, because I love questions.
Yeah.
You led us beautifully through this. It was almost like a meditative type of state, because you talked us through everything and you kept us going with it. But, if we're doing this on our own, what should our mind be doing? Should we be making affirmations, affirming things? Sending healing energy to my, digestive system. Like if we were just doing the practice on our own.
This is also a great question. There's a saying in Qigong, Yi Dao, Qi Dao, which means basically where your mind goes, your energy follows. So whenever we use affirmations or self-love or any of that kind of attitude towards anything we do in our body, we are actually feeding it in more ways than one. basically with Qigong, a lot of the times I'll do a lot of affirmations as I'm doing different forms. There's forms for inspiration, forms for being able to talk to somebody that you feel intimidated about. There's all these different forms that help move our energy in different ways. And so when I practice or when I'm teaching, a lot of times I'll teach certain affirmations, or I'll invite people to create their own affirmations to make that happen. In this case, it would be really about, I am able to, I think that digestion, again, is about discernment, being able to, I can discern what feeds me, what drains me, so that I can start to filter out that which drains me and then bring in what feeds me. So whatever you say to yourself, that's self-loving, particularly of your belly. I'm a big advocate for belly love, when you do that, to be really kind with yourself about what you're feeling, don't worry about the flab or all these different things that people go to just be in that place of lovingness and just notice what you notice. So it's really about being aware. Ultimately, with the forms, we want to kind of do it with an empty mind. But I think one of the things that we can do is sort of put it into our consciousness, and then we can let it go and just be with the experience of feeling our hips move or feeling that energy moving up and down.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you. This was such a beautiful 5-minute exercise and another 5-minute chat around it. So amazing. Are there any last words you need to leave with us about what you just showed us, or that's about it?
Well, thank you. I guess what I would just end by saying is for folks to remember that you're more than just the story that you happen to be in right now, right? Whatever the things are that are going on that give you stress or energy or whatever, you're more than that. You're also an energetic body. So every time we pay attention to that piece, we have a bigger life.
Yes, beautiful. Oh my goodness, guys. If you want to hear more about Qigong, make sure you check out this week's episode of the Becoming Unique podcast with Vicky, giving us the one-on-one understanding on what Qigong is, all the amazing benefits behind it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Back at you, back at you.
Yes.